Ah. Okay.
Hello. Wow. Too loud. Is it okay? Er þetta allt í lagi? Um, okay. So, first of all, yeah, I did change the last lecture according to how the lecture was giving. So we didn't cover all the material. So I've changed the slides on my school now. Many people have been asking me about how it will be Wednesday. You are supposed to take your deliverables with you and you will be working in groups. It's no presentation, no slides or anything. Take the deliverables that are listed in the description, and you will be showing your products to two groups and you will be meeting two groups. So 20 minutes per each session. Yeah. So you're helping the other groups to get feedback and you're getting feedback from two groups. So what you have to do is to go to my school. There's this umræðuþræðir. We could see it in English. I think it's called discussion forum or something. Wait, so yeah, it's this one. Forums, yeah. Aha. Ah, wrong. Yeah, right. It's this one. I have so many courses in my school. Okay, so it's this one, and then we could see. Yeah, there are some people that have already done this. So to make the schedule, I need this information, of course. So you can see that I will do a schedule similar that I sketched up here. So I will tell your group number 1, and you will get the group number 7 first for 20 minutes, and then group number 8, and then you will go to group number 3 and group number 4. Something. I will make this arrangement. So it will be a very, very active session, and I would actually like all of you to be here if it's possible. I've told you many times that it's mandatory, but of course you could be sick or there could be some things that constrain you, but I would really like you to be here. Today I will cover subjects that you will be using in assignment 2. So first we will I wanted to tell you about the Google Glass assignment. So I did go through all of it, and actually this video really shows how it's used. So we could have a quick look here. Hopefully it opens. Yeah. And so it's actually very interesting. I could.
First of all these things are going to be done with an interaction with the trackpad on the side of glass. So there's a swipe forward, backward, down, and a tap. And this actually feels pretty natural with the sort of light tapping. You're not really bashing it against your own head, but you're just doing slight swipes and light taps and things like that. And that feels normal. So number 1, you can take pictures. So you can say, okay, glass, take a picture. Or if you don't want to do that at all, you can just tap that photo button that's on the top of glass and just take a picture of you, the camera, and the light. So that's what you look like right now. And if you want to take a video, that's the next function of Glass. Of course, you can say, okay, Glass, record a video, and you'll start recording a video. Or you can actually hold down the photo button on the top of Glass, and you automatically start taking a 10-second video. So you're going to start looking at what I'm seeing, which is basically a bunch of lights and a microphone. But yeah, that's what it looks like to take a video with glass. It's automatically going to take a 10-second video, so if you want to extend it, you have to tap the photo button again, and you'll get like.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is the. Hello? Yep. Yeah. So here you can see he actually explains it very nicely how Google were planning to use it. Now they have sort of suspend, or that they aren't this. I don't know if they really closed everything down, if they have some plans to take it up in the future, but at least they are not working on it now. But I thought this was very explanatory, so this will also help you. It would maybe have been good to look at this one instead of the other one to be able to do the analysis. When going through your answers in the individual assignment, there were some of you, not many, but some of you used, you were talking about some technical equipment in the how factor. So I would like you to use the how factor for the interaction. How does the user interact with the system? How does the user talk to the system, and how does the system talk to the user? And then the what factor could be used for technical equipment. But I tried to tell you, and I thought most of it was very, very nice, and then I commented on some of you, but all of you got approved. And then the why factor, I would like you to explain maybe the main functionality for the Google classes. You didn't need to tell me all the 7 things, but like the main things, or some examples. And then also maybe what value the user will get. So both what can you do, and then the value. Some people only had the value, just it will make life simpler, and some people only had the main functionality. But think about that in the assignment 1, to have both, include both. Any questions here? Okay. Yeah, okay. No problem. Like this. Yep. Okay. The next, yeah, and here are some like good examples about good answers. So I think some were thinking about water, that maybe it was hard to use it when it was raining, and of course not when you're sleeping, and so on. There was another student thinking about that maybe it's only for early adopters, young people, so on. So I think these were very well done, both of them. Okay. Yeah, and there has been discussion on Facebook on the visions. And the first thing I would like to point to you is that I would like you to do like a holistic vision, not one vision for this task and then like for Google Classes, take a picture, one vision, email, one vision, and so on. Google Class would be just one vision, having all this functionality. Yeah. And then then today there has been discussion on what is the consolidated vision then. If you have like one vision for something like Google Glasses and then one vision for something totally different, how can you combine those? And my answer is you could, well, hopefully there are the visions are pretty something similar. You know, you're thinking about tourists, you're thinking about helping tourists, and maybe you're saying, we could help them in this way, in this way, in this way, and then you can take something positive from here and here and here in the consolidated vision. That's the thinking. But the reason why I ask you to do 3 is so you don't really just have one idea and then just go and run. You know, you open up your imagination and think about something different, so you really get a great idea in the end. Some people say you don't have to marry the first idea you get, like, you know, you don't have to like stick to the very first idea. Just check out more ideas. And then some people were asking about scenarios. It is a scenario that should describe something in the future, and it is a scenario that should describe a positive like flow. So there was somebody asking about should it be if something wrong happens or something, but no, it is more like a positive flow. But you can see some explanations on Facebook. I did write some comments. Do you have any questions here? Nope. Okay. Then I will give you a lecture on usability and user experience, the subjects that we didn't cover last Wednesday, and you will use this in the second group assignment. And also, you could also refer to this when describing the why factor there in this analysis. So usability. Usability is a measure of the quality of the user experience when interacting with a product or system. This is defined at this web there, usability.gov. This is the official definition here. The extent to which a product, system, or service can be used by specified users to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of use. And the reason why I've colored some of the things there, the red ones are like the basic ones, really the things that you have to think about. What is the product? Who are the users? What are their goals? And in what context are they using this product? So these are like the basic things that we are really going into, digging into, describing the users. You have been working with the context of use with both the vision and the 5 W&H analysis. The orange letters are the measurable things, or the factors of usability. So in the ISO standard defines 3 factors: effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction. Effectiveness means that you are able to complete specified goals, and you're measuring the completeness. So if you are able to complete or not, and the accuracy, meaning even though you have completed, then you maybe haven't completed it with the right data, or you think you have completed, but you're halfway through or something. So that is the accuracy. efficiency is really related to effectiveness. So it is the resources expended, resources mean this could be time, or this could be your energy, or yeah, like your motivation, what they're talking about, in relation to the accuracy and completeness with which users achieve goals. So they're actually saying, you know, the time spent on completing a task, or your energy. You know, if you're very irritated after completing it, you have put in a lot of energy to do it. This could be mouse clicks. This could be many things. How you really define the resources. But then you have the satisfaction, and that is more like subjective measure. These are effectiveness and efficiency are more objective, but satisfaction is more subjective. So you have to ask people about it. That is defined like by saying that it is a freedom from discomfort and positive attitudes towards the use of the product. So freedom from discomfort and positive attitudes. So how many positive attitudes do you have, and did you have any discomfort? So in the usability definition, we also talk about specified goals, and often these are tasks. So it's something that the user really wants to do, and it is a complete goal. So you sort of like sit down, you achieve the goal, and you move on. So it's not like just logging in because you haven't completed anything, you know. It's not like, yeah, I want to log in now, and then nothing else, you see. So it's more like buying a ticket, you know, inserting the assignments for you students, or something that I really want to do, and I can go ahead. Most often when we are solving tasks, we want to be fast. So it's effectiveness and efficiency that we are aiming for. And actually here I was looking at some websites, and then they asked me about my satisfaction with the website, and I always check those out if I'm asked, because I would like to see how they do the survey. And here on the second page, they asked me, were you able to do what you set out to do? Were you able to complete your tasks? And then I had the drop down like yes, or yes, completely. And I said yes, partly because I didn't find the schools when the schools start in the autumn. So I had this goal of finding this information. I couldn't do it, so I told them that. And here they are checking maybe they are checking my satisfaction. So to the right here are very satisfied, and to the left are very dissatisfied. So they are checking both the specified goals and my satisfaction there. But sometimes also the goal is to have fun, and we have touched upon this several times in this course. So you would like to improve the user experience, like in games, for example. So you're not really solving tasks, and you don't really want to be fast, but these qualities are also important. And the same standard there, ISO 9241. ISO means International Standard Organization. So this is often used in research to be able to know what is it really that you're talking about. When you say usability, what are you talking about? So many people refer to these definitions. And the definition of user experience from this standard is it's the person's perceptions and responses resulting from the use and or anticipated use of a product, system, or service. And then they give like 3 notes. I only included one in the slides, but and this one is actually emphasizing that it's the user's emotions, beliefs, preferences, perceptions, physical and psychological responses, behaviors, and accomplishments. So what is this saying? This is saying this is a much wider concept, isn't it, than usability? Yeah. It's very much on about emotions, and also they are saying that it's before, during, and after use. But usability is very much focused on just during use, when you're using it. How fast is it for you? Can you complete tasks? How satisfied are you right after using it? So usability is more focused, and user experience, the new term, is much wider. So you could have, you could actually use all these words to describe user experience. It could be satisfying, enjoyable, engaging, da, 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 da. And the undesirable aspects could be boring, frustrating, annoying, childish, unpleasant. And I think it's rather popular right now to use like a smilometer, and you can see it in some companies here. And every time you go through the security in Leifstöð and in Keflavik, you have these smilometers to they ask you how was your experience today. So you give like a one click of telling them how satisfied you are with the service. Some people are also, or some software are using this in their comments. So Skype uses it when you're updating their or downloading a new version. They say, just a moment, we're improving your Skype experience. So the 3 phases of user experience is actually like the first impression, and this could also cover before. So what is the feeling that the user gets right on the first seconds? And some people also are thinking about what is the feeling before you've seen it. And then during use, and then as I was saying, we are focusing on usefulness and long-term usability, and then after use. When you've been using it for a long time, it's more like, what impression do you have? So what is the user's judgment then? And user experience is actually a complex of many things. It is very related to branding and marketing. We also we are affected by the visual design, the functionality, and usability when we make our judgment on the user experience. So you can see usability is just one here from this illustration, one of 5 elements. And people are actually people in this area in my Halló, já, ok, það er komið núna. Batterin er ábyggilega orðin svolítið. Can you tell me when the sound is not on anymore? Yeah. Okay, measuring the user experience. This is probably the most, you could say like most famous questionnaire for measuring user experience. It's called Attractive, and it has been studied a lot and has given good responses. There is this web page, and in the individual assignments, just we will do that in 5 or 10 minutes. You will use this one. Yeah, maybe we should just do Okay. Wow. Okay, so you're saying that some of the questions were a bit strange. Yeah. Especially on the first page or on the second page too, or first? Aha. And why was that? Was it because this, but you're just like measuring an ordinary web and the questions didn't really fit, or, yeah. So some questions were maybe more for like a game or something more engaging, or, yeah. But what about the other one? Was it, did you think that on the second page there were the right questions, or? Yeah. It was more formal? Yeah. More like objective? How often do you use it? But they also ask about complex and easy to use. If you need the support, yeah. But this actually on the second page, it's from 86. I don't know if you noticed, so it's a rather old one version of measuring how good the systems are. No. Yes, right. Yeah, good point. Maybe the reasons for using tools haven't changed that much for 30 years. So you're right, but yeah, but actually usability has become not as much fashion, and user experience is more as a fashion now. So you could see in job titles, you can see user experience designers and so on, but not that much usability designers. So I think it's also a bit like a buzzword now, user experience. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it is also meant to be like that. The first page is for measuring user experience. The second page is for measuring usability. And the reason why I asked you to do this was to really feel the difference when answering this. How different is it to measure it? And then about user experience, I was asked, I think it was last year, to take part in this we were 3 people judging what is the best public authority website. And what we so there had been this screening. So all the public websites were screened or were measured according to a long list, much longer than this one, checking both the content, how easy it was to use, and different things. So there was this long questionnaire checking. Do they have this? Do they have that? Where is this? And they got points. And the public authority websites that got the highest number of points were these 5. Fiskistofa, Háskólinn á Akureyri, that's the university in Akureyri. I don't know how to translate this actually. Tryggingastofnun is the insurance, something public assurance authorities, something. Okay, and these are the front pages of these webs. And we didn't know which of these got the highest rating. But we were 3 people and we were asked, can you check out these 5 and can you tell us what is the best? And we also got websites for towns. So we got the websites introducing the towns. So it was Reykjavik, Akureyri, Garðabær, Seltjarnarnes, and Mosfellsbær that got the highest points. And what was really surprising for us was that even though in this category here, even though we knew that all of them got really high rating when you're checking all this objectively, it was really a different experience using them. So my understanding of the connection between usability and user experience really was better after doing this, because even though all of them had high ratings, the feeling and how it was to use it, or how it was to check, and I tried to do similar things in all of them. I tried to search for some information and go around a little bit. I didn't have that much time. They didn't give us much time, but still I tried to do similar things, and the user experience in using them were really, really different. So we actually decided that Akureyri would get the prize there. So here a guy from the town Akureyri is taking, and this was a little bit like the like all these awards, like the Oscar. There was this member coming and giving a speech, and this is me here standing beside the minister at that time, and so I was the chair of the board deciding this, and they were really, really proud, and it was really nice to do this. And but what I wanted to tell you is that even though some things can be highly rated, the user experience is another thing. So it was a different experience, and what was also nice was that we all agreed. So we were three, and each of us just said, okay, we will go individually and check those webs out, and then we'll meet again and discuss. And we all had the same feeling. So we were pretty sure that we were satisfied with the result. So what this is also telling us is that this has to be measured, and this has to be, you have to evaluate with users and iterate the design to be able to get good user experience. And actually, Tryggingastofnun was the one that got was this. Tryggingastofnun is this one here that got the highest rating in this category, and they had been working on designing a better web for many months. So they were very, very happy that their work was actually appreciated. Okay, so the next question would be, how can we set goals for user experience and usability? If we are designing something, can we really put forward some goals? What are your ideas? Like if we were asked to redesign the RU web. Okay, easy to use and understandable. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Make an interview or ask the users about it. Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So we could adjust a questionnaire to the website we are measuring, and we could maybe circulate a questionnaire like this and check the status, and then try to redesign it and improve. So like the first questionnaire would maybe be our like the baseline. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? More or less, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it was very interesting that you actually, the two of you that commented, covered the two types of goals that we can have actually. One is more like qualitative. It's open. It's like it should be easy to use. It should be simple. It should simplify life. But that is really hard to measure. When have we done easy to use? When are we done? When have we really reached our goal that it is easy to use? Yeah, yes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. But now you're talking more about measurable goals. So the goal will be if a 70-year-old person could use the web without any major problems, maybe, or in, finding the almanac in less than 3 minutes or something, and then you can actually just ask somebody to do this and measure and so on. So measurable goals, we all know about measurable goals. People doing sports are really trained in doing this. Setting a goal, I would like to run 10 kilometers within an hour in August. And then, they have this goal, and then they, go to the Reykjavik marathon run, 10 kilometers, and it's measured there, and they know if they achieved their goal or not. So they are doing it all the time. But we can also do it for websites. We can also have measurable goals. And you were commenting, we could also have like measurable goals from questionnaires like this. So this one, we could say like the average rating of question 7 should be more than 4 or something. Yeah. And this is maybe because we know that all our competitors have 4 or and over, or we know that, like you said, maybe we have a baseline and we say we can't be worse than this, and then we want to improve. And actually, in the second assignment, I will ask you to do measurable goals for your product. So when we're measuring, there are a lot of things we can measure. We've talked about time on task, time to finish the tasks. It can also be just if you can finish the task or not. So the completion rate, how far the user proceeded, how much he could do of the task if he doesn't or she doesn't finish, how many commands you use, how many mouse clicks you use, and some like the number of comments. Some people have phrases like everything should be 2 clicks away or something, so it should be really easy, and especially for tasks you are frequently doing, like in my previous GSM mobile phone. It was a Nokia, and I once counted it was like 8 steps I had to do to be able to call a person. And I was like, when am I done? I just want to call. This is a mobile phone. And the interface always asked me the very last question. They asked me, you want to make a call? Do you want a voice call or like a FaceTime or something? And I always had to tell the phone, it is a voice call I want. And I never wanted a FaceTime, but still it always asked me. So especially for like core tasks like this, calling with a phone, we could really try to design and try to make this, make some goals about this. We can also be more subjective on the counting positive and negative comments, occasions where the user misunderstood, and so on, when the user is unsatisfied. So here we are trying to measure the feelings of people, and there are many more. So one way of expressing the measurable goals could be like this, that we are thinking about efficiency here, and what we are collecting is the time on a particular task. This could be for Harpa, for example, harpa.is, and then it could be the time to buy a ticket. And you wouldn't want it to be more than 1.5 minutes, preferably 40 seconds, and best case 20 seconds. And now we are an average on 1 minute. So we have some time to improve, we have some improvements to do. So we could also keep track on where is it now, where are we, and like I say, those of you that are doing sports, this is not new to you. You probably keep track of how fast can I run 1 kilometer today, or something, if you're trying to be faster in running. Yeah, and then the goals, of course, relate to the objectives of the system or software we are designing. So if you have a search engine, you want to be efficient. If you're doing word processing, you would like to be able to complete the tasks and then also be fast. But as we say in computer games, it's more the experience. And this can be also in many other things than games, that you emphasize the user experience. Okay, so I've completed this this lecture, and I will continue for half an hour with another lecture that you will also use in the second assignment. So let me, I will just have 2 minutes if you want to stand up, and I can open the windows. I have to start Google Hangout for the next one. Wouldn't you like it? Wouldn't you like the lectures to be separated, or is it okay to have it this in one long lecture, the recording? Is it okay? Oh, okay, great. Ég að taka upp, sko. Ég ætlaði að gera hérna lectures og opna þennan hér. Open. Svona. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's take 2 minutes break. Just. Já, takk. Já. Ja, wow. Halló. Skrítið hvernig þetta... Okay. Okay. Now I would like to tell you about contextual interviews. Maybe we should take the next Wednesday there first, so you, so we won't, so we will definitely cover that, because I don't know how. Here, so what you need to bring for next Wednesday is the consolidated vision, the 5W and H analysis. I have to make another name, so you can actually suggest some new names for this. It's not a nice name. Maybe context analysis or something. I don't know. Elevator speeds, user group analysis, and sketches. So this is also what I told you in the description of the project. And you are supposed to also collect the feedback from the groups, and you will return that. You're supposed to put it on the blog. And that is actually 10% of the grading for the project. Yeah, and I told you that I have done this forum in my school, so you should add the names of the groups there. Yeah, and I explained this. I divide the groups into two. First half, the groups will half of the groups will show their deliverables to two other groups, and then these groups that they were showing for the first 40 minutes will be visitors for two groups, 20 minutes each. And the visitors should be asking questions, and you have to give feedback to the group. So try to think about what feedback you would like to get. What would you like to ask about? You know, what is the try to be like helpful with the groups, because you would like your visitors to be helpful. Yeah. So not only you're such this is all nice, you know. You would like to get something, some discussion. Why is this like this? Why did you think about this? Why do you have it like? Is it better to do this? Try to start a discussion with the group. There's always space for improvements. Okay. Are there any questions here now? Yep. Yeah, it is. Ah, great. Yeah, no, it is now, this week. Yeah. And in Icelandic, we also actually say next Wednesday, and it's the coming Wednesday. So it's a bit strange. Yeah. Okay, so the question is, if we have it in WordPress, is it enough to just show it there? Didn't you do the visions on paper and sketches and everything? Yeah, I think it's easier to show it on paper, and it will be easier to get feedback from the people. You know, you have 3-4 people there in front of you, and you know, it will be easier to gather feedback if you have it on paper. So I would do that, because then you get more feedback. Okay. Okay, let's do the lecture here. I wanted to tell you about contextual interviews. Contextual interviews are conducted in the user's workplace. And this is actually a method for trying to discover how are things done today. Now we are doing this wonderful new thing, but how are people doing this today? And this is actually, you know, the inspiration comes from that. How can we help these people? What are the problems they have now? How do they do this now? And how can we improve their way of working? And we could do this in many ways, answering this question. How can we improve their work practice? The people that suggest this method, they really believe that coming to and seeing the whole context, what they're using, you know, what equipment are they using, why are they doing this, in which circumstances, having all these factors in mind when you're doing the interview really give you a rich interview. Do you have a question? Loka klukkanum, yep. Yeah. So this is a one-to-one interview, and the focus is on observations on ongoing work and discuss what it is. Yeah, what is happening at the moment. So actually the user is teaching the interviewee how he does things. So the person that is interviewing is actually learning from the interviewee or the user. So the user explains to you that is conducting the interview how he uses the tools, or he is used to achieve his goals or her goals. And there's a procedure. So first there's an introduction telling you about the reasons, or telling the user why are you doing this interview and how the procedure will be. And then there is this transition. Then there is the field interview itself. And then we have a wrap up. And I will tell you more about these now. So the introduction could take 10 to 15 minutes. And you have several things that you need to include in the introduction. You have to introduce yourself and the goal. So let's say you are doing this. You should say, well, I am Marta Lárusdóttir, and I'm in this course of user-centered software development at Reykjavik University. The goal is to explore how visitors to Iceland plan their trips. So I would really like to have your help in doing understanding this better. Something like this. Yeah. So you explain the focus. I did that too. And you can tell them the estimated time of the interview. And you just, you know, you can just decide, well, I won't let it be longer than 1 hour. And if you have done many, you can tell them, well, it's usually 45 minutes or something. But in the first interviews, you will just adjust it to a time slot. The main thing is that you are not a specialist, that they are the specialist. They know how to do these things that you are designing for. So this is your opportunity to get information. And you can also get information on the background. So have you been planning many trips before? How do you usually do this, and so on? We have that particular example. You could get a permission to record the interview. That could be very, very good, because we tend to forget things that happen. So it's good to go back to it. And you will just promise them that this won't be connected to their person. So you have to tell them that the information will be kept confidential. So it won't be connected to their name, and so on. And then you should try to look for a good task to begin with. And then in the transition, you just say, well, okay, now I have been talking a lot, but I would like you to start showing me how you solve tasks. And then in the field interview, the user is working and shows you how he does things. And you are observing and discussing. So you write down how this user is doing things today. And the authors of this method, they estimate that you should write 10 to 20 pages of like written text for each interview. So it should be very detailed. And they don't recommend that you use a computer to take notes because they think it's disturbing for the user to hear, you know, that you are on the keyboard all the time. So I think actually people, this method was suggested in 2005, probably this version. And I think people are actually getting more used to that. People are using equipment all over. So this is maybe not as critical as then, but still I can agree with them that maybe it's easier for you as an interviewee and observer when you're observing to use paper and pen than a computer. Yeah. Okay. And you can also sketch the context of use, the environment where the user is. And then the wrap up is only 10 to 15 minutes, and there you are talking again. So you summarize what you learned. So you can say, okay, so the main thing, I think I understand it now, that your main problem when planning is that you have all these alternatives and you don't know how to choose between them, and you get like a little bit frustrated if you're getting the best price, or is that my right understanding? So then you can double check if you have really understood what they would like assistance for. How you can simplify their life, like we said in the first, one of the first individual assignments, you expressed why we are making software, and many said that we are trying to simplify people's lives. And this is a way of understanding it better. What is it actually we can help them with? The authors of this method also recommend that we schedule the interpretation within 28 hours. And this is because we forget how, you know, what did they say? How was it? Wow, something. So we should really try to do the interpretation as soon as possible. Yeah, okay. So if there are some things that you have been thinking about, we should make a system for this and that, and we think that they have problems with this, and we would like to do this design or something, you could check. You could ask them if we would design it in this and this way. If you have a vision of the design. You could ask them, if I design it in this way, what do you think? Do you think it would be helpful? So you can use the wrap up for also checking or gathering feedback on your ideas. Okay. So, because this is a contextual interview, are there any is there a best context to observe people? Well, it is just where the people are using the software. So if they're using it mostly at work, it would be best to go to work. So, you know, and then if you know that people are using it really in different contexts, it would be good to have like maybe 2, 3 at work, 2 at home or something. So it would be really good to distribute where you are or observe in different contexts. I told you that it is good to do the interpretation of the contextual interviews within 28 hours, and now I will tell you about how the interpretation is done. So the interpretation has also like a thorough process. It should take around 2 hours. You should find a place to work and have there you can have a computer. You could have a projector and flip chart, and you have to decide which group is going to do the interpretation. You have 3 roles. You have the person that what's doing the interview, but you also have more people here. You have a note taker and a moderator for this interpretation session. So, you know, if you're working in groups, you could do contextual interviews, each of you, but then you can work on the interpretation together. Yeah. And what do they do? Yeah, okay, the deliverables. What you get out of the interpretation are yellow notes, which all cover one item that was discovered in the interview. So they say that you should get up to 50 or 100 from each interview. So pretty detailed again. You should also have descriptions of the user and descriptions of the organization as a deliverable. So during the interpretation session, the main question is that the person doing the interview is asked what happened in the interview and how can we use it in our design. So the interviewer doesn't need to prepare, but he introduces, okay, I talked to this person and at this place, at this organization, and describes how the interview went, and has the notes in front of them. And then we shouldn't try to summarize anything. We should try to keep the detail as long as possible. So the person doing the interview takes part in discussions and tells about what he saw, explains maybe design ideas that he got, and ensures that the ideas are captured. So actually, the group is interviewing this person that were conducting the interview. And as soon as you find something interesting, you write it on a yellow note. So yeah, and the interview, the person doing the interview has the last word on the truth about the user, you know, and because he was there, or she. So the note taker writes a concise, informative affinity note. So say you have these yellow post-it notes and you write on those. So you write observations, issues, breakdowns in work, questions, insights, and design ideas, and all in different notes. So you have one observation, maybe one issue, some examples of breakdowns in the work, and some ideas about design ideas, and you write this all down on each and every one on a separate note. So the note taker has a busy job writing all this. And if the note taker isn't really sure, he or she should ask questions about to make the affinity note clear. And also the note taker takes track on, writes down which role people have in this interpretation session. So if I was the interviewee, he writes that down, and who is the note taker and so on. So a general interpretation team member should listen to the person that is doing the interview and ask to find the user's work habits, and then can also point to the note taker to capture some information on the notes. And these people can review the affinity notes and keep the conversation on track. So the moderator that is really moderating the whole interpretation session keeps the meeting focused and ensures that everybody is involved, and ensures that the note taker is not falling behind, and is helping the interviewer to stay in or keep track of their notes. You should describe the people that you talk to with the job title, responsibilities, and age, and so on. And you have to mark them as with a number, not by the name, to keep the confidentiality. So it's and then you can also describe the organization where you went to, if this is a software that you would use at work. So number of employees and location and so on. So like we said, you make interpretation of events and problems and breakdown in work and cultural influences, design ideas. This is all what you put on the notes. So this is actually what it could look like when it's done. When you have done the interpretation session, you have a stack of affinity notes like this, and then you need another session to make a affinity diagram. Yeah, and I think we'll just use the last 2 minutes to discuss the affinity diagram. How is that done? So it is like a tree of all the results that come from contextual interviews. So it's the data from many interviews that are grouped to make make a tree of all the results. And this was done in this course by some students. So you have the yellow notes. These are the original ones from the interpretation, but then the blue ones, these are summarizing what the yellow notes are saying down, below it. Okay, so the first one here, having 5 below it, summarizes what all the 5 say. Okay, and then the pink one summarizes what all the 4 blue one to say. So it's like a summary of what came out of all the interviews. But you can also use actually a tool to do this, and they this group used a special tool to make this affinity diagram. So it is similar. You have these phases, the preparation, how to build it, and then creating the final affinity diagram. And affinity diagram is done like that, you maybe have 8 to 10 people there. No. Okay, so here we are making an affinity diagram from 8 to 10 users. So from 8 to 10 interviews, and maybe from 2 to 3 different contexts. So you should have a big stack of notes. So, but when you do the affinity diagram, you group the notes into 20 note stacks, and each member there making the affinity diagram gets one. And you have to have a room for this and a wall. So maybe you could like use this wall here, or some blackboards or something. And you can put paper on the wall, and then you will put notes on the paper. And the process is really easy. You just have your stack with 20 yellow notes. You read one note and you put it up on the wall. But then everybody read through their stack and check if there's something similar to the first one. And then, it's really, really easy. And when you have covered all of them, you have columns, and then you can start to make the blue and green and the other colors. So it is actually very exploratory here. I don't want to keep you any longer, but you can see the instructions here. So remember that to bring everything for next Wednesday, remember to tell me about the groups. And I'm really looking forward to this cooperation session Wednesday. Thank you very much for attending today.